I got a good one for you. I want to see your take on this. Um, something that I feel like will resonate with not only you, me, but everyone watching this.
Hmm.
So this article is straight off of personal finance here. Guys, Gen Z says that they have it harder than their parents, and they blame the economy. What's your take on it, bro? When it comes to our
Hmm.
generation and everything going on, I'll hit you with a couple key points here.
Okay.
So most Gen Zers blame the economy for making it harder to get necessity. Oh, Jesus Christ, necessities.
Sound it out. You good?
Um, in most recent reports, those just starting out are more likely to need a side hustle to help cover their monthly expenses.
Mm.
Um, yeah, the last one here, last point. Young adults have been seeking debt, credit, and other forms of loans just to get by.
Interesting. Well, I mean, see, while you were saying that, I had to look up the age range for Gen Z real quick to make sure my 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 numbers is right. But bro, Gen
Mm.
Z is you're between the age of 12 and 27.
Now, I
Half of
mean, they
that
lump in,
demographic don't
yeah,
got bills for the most part.
yeah. They so in this article, they're lumping in millennials with them as well.
Oh, as the younger, okay.
Yeah, yep. Like they're not counting the kids. It's like obviously, I would say probably 20 and up, and then they lumped in millennials with
Okay,
it.
okay. But even millennials, that's what 28 to 43.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, to respond to the initial headline that you gave, I do feel, I think there's nuance to it for sure. But in some ways, we do have it harder, and in some ways, we do have it easier. Like man, inflation has been a massive issue. Like I think we were talking the other day, and I was telling you like people are calculating for inflation for vehicle prices from what 10 years ago,
Hmm.
15 years ago, which
Yeah,
is absolutely wild to me. When you think, you're adjusted for inflation, you're thinking 50 plus years back, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But, I'm sure you've been in a grocery store lately, like, oof, you get to that checkout, you didn't scan 4 or 5 items, you already at $100. You
Hey,
like, how
bro,
did we get here?
you be contemplating putting stuff back, scanning the
Mm-hmm.
banana twice. You know,
27, yeah, put that back, put that back.
it's bad, bro. Especially
Yeah.
early 20s, mid 20s. But yeah, man. So they say roughly 38% of Gen Z adults and millennials believe that they face more difficulty financially, feeling financially secure than their parents did at the same age. So that's basically saying like, okay, you know, your parents,
Mm-hmm.
if they're equating the two, you're facing more hardship than your parents would have back in their day around your age,
I mean, like I said,
financially
I
speaking.
disagree and disagree. Like, go back 20, 30, 40 years, like you're you could get more for your money. Your money was worth more.
Yeah.
Do you know? So like it was a time in America, bro, minimum wage, save up for a year or two or three, you could buy a house. That's not happening in 2024, brother. You know?
Nah, bro. I mean, bro, the best you probably could do is pitch a tent on the side of the road. Like that's probably your second best option
That's
because
what I'm
buying a house is
saying,
not
bro.
happening. It's not happening
Mm-hmm. Bro, you make minimum wage in this country. Even, you really gotta get on the phone with Section 8 and figure something out.
for sure. I think it's shocking too. Like when you look at the percentages of wage growth compared to inflation, wage growth doesn't even compare to the stats on inflation. Like inflation outpaces wage growth by a wide margin.
Massively. I don't know if you ever seen those charts. It'll be like, like income versus like,
Hmm.
like wage prices and,
Yeah,
compare like
inflation,
the
price of
housing
goods, certain
market,
goods.
and it is
Yeah.
ridiculous. So it's like what's it called? Like it happens a lot, like people like here in New York, you've had some random piece of property for 20, 30 years. You sell it. For some reason, a lot of people go from New York to like Georgia. I don't know why. But they'll move to Georgia though. Say, this ain't for me. I miss, the city life. You come back up, hey, I want a house like what I had. I paid what 300,000 for it back in the 90s, and I sold it for like, just under $1 million. What can
Yeah.
what can you do for me, man? That real estate agent gonna ask you what's your budget, man. You better start with a 7, 8, or 9.
Because you're not getting nothing of what you left with.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it's
man.
ridiculous. So I do feel like back then, yeah, like when you bought your house in the 70s, 80s for 2 peaches and an apricot, you was living pretty. But I will say at the same time, like there are more ways to get to that bag nowadays
Yeah.
compared to back then, which is why I said it's give or take. And why my answer was yes and no. Because man, I'm sure you've seen it. That clip of that that woman going, "You gotta spit on that thing."
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Came out of
Brother,
nowhere.
that woman quit her job. She's currently in talks with some entertainment networks for a reality TV show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can make it.
She
You
got
can
paid
make it.
30K for a club appearance the other day.
Wow.
Isn't that
Wow.
around like the
Dang.
national what's it called, salary?
It's a little higher. It's a
20
little higher. I
something?
mean, if you're going median, it's a little higher than that though. It's about 50 grand.
50, you sure? I could have
We're
sworn
talking median salary.
the average salary in the US is like 20 something, like high 20s, low 30s, somewhere around there.
I'm gonna look it up now.
What you seeing
See.
over there? Because I could have sworn it was somewhere in that ballpark.
The
So make
average
sure I'm getting my
salary
numbers right.
as of 2023
Mhm.
is $65,470.
Really?
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
average.
the more you
So I mean,
know.
it's going up, but if we're
Definitely. But even
comparing
with
to
that
like,
said, brother, like she made what the average person makes in 6 months in a night,
for sure. But
which is
even the
ridiculous.
65, bro, this is something that a lot of people, you got to remember. This is the average, so it's taking your high, low, and and pulling that.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't making 65. You see what I'm
No,
saying?
not at
Like
all.
if you're a 22-year-old working, a regular job, a regular 9 to 5, making 20 an hour, making 19 an hour, you're not even touching 65.
Nope.
And that's if you're working full-time hours. You're still not touching 65. So
You're
think
not
about
at
all the
all.
people working part-time, still in school. Bro, you're struggling.
No, definitely a struggle. But I mean, that's my take on how do you feel about the whole debacle that Gen Z and millennials find themselves in, and Gen Alpha eventually.
Um, I think it's a tough position because I think like our parents looking at us like, oh, well, you guys have all these, different avenues that you guys can go to or tap into, which is a fair point. But I think the problem is like getting to that point. Like you have to have some sort of capital to start a lot of things. Like for instance, when we're talking, a 22-year-old in college, you're starting off, you're not even starting off net zero. You're starting off negative. Most people, you're
Yeah.
starting off 20,
Student
10,
loans.
20, 30 grand in debt. And then you get pushed out into the workforce. And then you struggle to find a job either in your field or that pays decent to start paying off your loan. So you're already so far, behind. And now you're just playing catch up. Who wants to play catch up for the next 40 years of your life? So
Very true.
I think it's a real precarious position that we're all in. And it's unfortunate too, because it's like, bro, you see a lot of these, companies consistently saying they're making record profits and then their employees are barely making, livable wages. It's kind of frustrating. It's kind of sad.
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't heard anything about it lately, but I know like it's been a big issue with like Amazon and their workers, and trying to stop them stop them from unionizing, and it's been a whole
Yeah.
debacle, and it's like one of the biggest companies in the world. You'd think
Yeah.
you'd look out for the people down there, keeping things afloat.
Yeah, no, I mean, even when I worked for Apple, that was an aspect too. Like there was a couple Apple stores that unionized and they did it because they were trying to work out either more compensation or more benefits or a little bit of both. But a lot of big companies, because I mean, when you're working for a big company and you hear that they have a, you know, $1.2 trillion market cap, but their employees aren't making, livable wages, that's a pretty bad position to be in as a worker for the company. My time at Apple, I can say I made, decent money. But again, a lot of people working there were not a 21, 22-year-old. They were 30 something and had 2 kids and a mortgage, and a car note. So these are things that I didn't have to factor in, but they did, and albeit I'm working part-time, but they're also working part-time. And it's hard to afford all those things on a part-time income, so
No, very
it's
true. I mean, I'm
definitely
sure
tough.
all the jobs you worked at. You looked around and be like, man, I got I got my couple subscriptions here and there, maybe a phone bill. I'm saving up for this game or this jacket or whatnot or a new phone. And like you look over at one of your coworkers, like, yo, this a 40-year-old man. He got
Yeah.
real expenses, bro. I
Yeah,
couldn't
bro.
imagine being in his shoes and working this job.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've all been there at one point in time. You make a close coworker friend and, they're like double your age and they start talking about their personal problems. You're like, man,
Right?
I
Talking
don't want
about
what you got going on.
might have to pull the kids out of private school,
Yeah.
marital issues. I gotta refinance the house. And I'm like, man, I'm saving up for AirPods. It's not the same over here.
It ain't it. It ain't it.
You
It's
know?
not it. No, man, but it's a tough topic, bro, because I think our generation too is way more outspoken about the problems within the workforce. And then as far as like actually trying to make livable wages, like we're more vocal about it. It's like, hey, bro, like we're working for this company, we're not making enough money. So what are we gonna do? Find somewhere else to go. And a lot of companies don't like that when employees job hop and try to find a better paying job, but that's how you play the game. That's how you kind of win. You stay at the
Very
same
true. I
job for
mean,
long enough where you don't get rewarded for it.
it's very true. I mean, like you said, Gen Z's not one to, just thug it out and grin and bear it, and suffer in silence at all.
Nah, bro.
So, it's definitely one thing we benefit of. And like you said, ain't no loyalty to these companies, man. Did you ever see that fast food place? I think the black guy. He worked there for like decades, like 40, 50 years, I think. And he retired and they gave him like a goodie bag of like I think like some cheap headphones and like pencils and like just random like stuff you found like a goodie bag at a kid's birthday party.
That's crazy. And I guarantee you, it was most likely the managers in that one branch in that store that did it. Probably it was nothing that came down from corporate or anything like that. Which, lets you know, like, yo, you're expendable. You're expendable. You're a cog in the machine, And if you know that, you at least want to get paid, the most you can.
No, absolutely.
You say he worked there for how long? 40, 50 years?
I looked it up. It wasn't 40, 50. I dragged it. It was 27 years. Almost 30
Still,
years. He
bro,
worked
that's
at a
a
Burger
long
King in
time.
Vegas. He worked at a Burger King in Vegas. He never missed a day of work all 27 years. He
That's
remarried.
dedication.
Apparently, they had an amazing health insurance that benefited his family. So he stuck around for 27 years. Okay, I got it in front of me. And the gift that he received, a drink tumbler, a lanyard, Reese's chocolate, some lifesavers, a pen, and a movie ticket.
It's like an end of year goodie bag from high school, bro. That's
And
something
it's even worse because you watch the clip. Like the man was like genuinely appreciative too.
I think it's more like just the company, the people around him, just sending them off happy for him. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That shit's going in the trash. You can tell me that's what you guys gave me. I gave y'all 27 something years of my, and I didn't miss a day.
He didn't miss a day of work for almost 30 years.
That's dedication, absolute dedication. But again, that goes to my point. You don't get rewarded for dedication. You just don't. Like,
I got the clip
they
in
don't
front of
care
me if you
about
want to
that.
check it out, bro.
All right, let's look at this.
Hey, I just want you guys to know that on all these days where it's hard to keep employees and not feeling appreciated, I've worked here for 27 years. I've never missed not one day of work, never called out. And I want you to know that it's good to feel appreciated. This is what I got. They also got me chocolate cake last week, and I get this. I had a bag, a nice bag, and this, a movie ticket. Thank you very much. And I also got a bag of Reese's. This is very nice. From Starbucks. Thank you guys. And it's like a lanyard, 2 pins, and a couple of key chains, and 2 lifesavers. So it's good to show what their appreciation for.
I can't watch that no more, brother.
Nah, but we gotta cut it right there because I felt bad as he was explaining it. It's like I seen the gratitude on his face, but I don't know, bro. 30 years of my life
That's
almost.
what's frustrating me the most, man. Like he's still grateful, you know.
Yeah,
Which
but that
shout
shows
out
you
to
the type
him
of
and his
person.
character. Yeah.
For sure.
You know, he's still grateful, but like, man, gave that man what? Bro said 2 pens. Those was like big pens too, bro. Not even
Not even
nice
quality pins, bro.
man. But I mean, the story does have a good ending. His daughter, caught wind of it, put out a GoFundMe, and they raised over like I think around like $300K for that, man.
That's amazing. That makes me feel like that situation had a good outcome,
Yeah.
Because think about it, if that video wasn't posted, no one would know about it.
Yeah. They pulled together $330,000 for that, man.
That's what's up, bro. That's a down payment on a very nice home.
Exactly.
Like,
so I'm glad to hear that things, that had a happy ending.